After a quick detour, we're back in the world of Warhammer, kitbashing a Dreadnought pilot. And before you say Tank, this was voted into existence by you. So sorry, Tank. Let's start off by making a complicated and probably unnecessary structure out of wire. Why? I don't know. Hey, look, Clay!
It's me, Mario!
After laying down a base of clay, I added the arms, and I'm putting that in quotation marks because this is a Dreadnought pilot where limbs are obviously optional. The first detailing I did was the spine action, but it will be covered with other stuff, so let's skip over it and go right to the mandatory female equipment. Obviously, I'm making a female character, so it needs to look like a lady, so I added two things that make up a lady. Moving on, I baked it as is, and that means it was time for the head. I'm not a very good sculptor, obviously, but I want to make her perfect. So how am I going to make a perfect female face? Cheating. And here's how I did it. First, get a figure that's similar in scale of what you're making, in my case, a little sister from BioShock, and take a mold of her face with some silicone putty, and after it cured, I filled it with clay, I baked it. Once baked, I demolded it, and I had a perfectly sculpted female face. I couldn't hope to sculpt this free-handed, but I'm not afraid to cheat my way to a good grade. And that's the lesson of the day, kids. If you don't have the skill, just cheat your way to the top. Of crafting, that is. I attached the head to the body, and if you just clicked on, yes, I sculpted this from scratch. Let's add some hair. I'm using this pastel blue from $1.50 Tree. To make the hair, I just did noodle shapes, sculpt with a knife and a silicone tool, and I went with a Mad Max hairstyle. Why blue, you ask? More on that later.
Groovy.
The sculpting is thankfully done, and we move on to the ScratchBuilding part. Since I'm on the team of Never Nude, I gave her some clothing made from crafting foam. Not much to say here, I just wanted to make a few layers of clothing for painting reasons.
You know, you're really beautiful.
Next we return to wire. I dressed this robot pelvis with not only floor wire, but actual electric wire as well. Then I attached it to her lower half, and to finish it off, I added more wire and a pipe, thus completing her lower half. I also added various types of wire to her arms. Next, I used a poker chip as the base, but I wanted to spice it up a bit, so I added this gear. Then I glued her to the base. She is more or less done, but I would like to add some pre-painted greeblies. This circuit board has a host of good stuff, but for now I just want this chip thing. I added some wire to it, and it's kinda got spider aura. I glued it onto her back and basically stuffed the wires in any nook and cranny I could. Next is the scary part. I cut out some crafting foam and very carefully glued it over her face. And that gave me a good base for this Mega Block mask. But I only wanted the lower part of the mask. Once glued on, she had her breathing mask, and to think if I spent 10 hours trying to sculpt her face only to cover it up, I would be very upset. But since I cheated, I don't care. Now, I'm not the best miniature painter, so let's speed run it, y'all. I started with a black base coat, then I painted her skin with skin colors, followed by her clothing. A silver metallic came next, then a black metallic that doesn't even show up on camera. My favorite came next, copper accents, followed quickly by a touch of bronze. Hair was next, and turquoise was the color. Why? Because I was The last thing I did was paint her eye with a needle, and it was very scary. Next I added her eyebrow, and then repainted all the wire when you looked away. And she was done, right? Remember that circuit board from earlier? Well, here's a different one, and here's some small bits from a third one. I wanted to add these little greeblies to certain spots, like here, and why not here? Let's do a quick brown wash for some reason, I don't know. The last thing I added was a rosary, because after all, she is a crusader and a Catholic. I'm aware that Warhammer is mostly pagan nonsense, but not my army. My army is Christian. Thus is why it's called a crusader army. And you're probably wondering if my Christian army is more forgiving and merciful. Well...
We'd be forgiven.
And indeed you may!
That's between you and God.
As usual, I forgot the ribbon thing, so I added them here. Okay, roll those beauty shots. So there it is. I tried my best with this one, and I honestly love how she looks. Just like the thumbnail says, beautifully grotesque is the perfect words for Eubella. Oh, this is Eubella, by the way. She's in the big blue Dreadnought Titan I made a few weeks ago. Link in the description. As for her older sister, Eubelle, well, if you thought Eubella was heavily damaged, wait until you see her sister. As I mentioned earlier, this kitbash was voted into existence by you over on my community tab. So be on the lookout for future polls if you want to dictate what gets kitbashed on this channel. The best way to not miss out is to subscribe and like. Those things seem like nothing, but they're everything to YouTubers. So don't forget about hitting those very important buttons. I thank you for watching, and like always, be kind, rewind, and I'll see you in the next one. Later!